with everything. Top 5 is presented by the Sex Effects. I'm Joy Parati.
And I'm Sean Day.
And folks, we have a show filled with movie references, and wonder, and whimsy, and fascination. But before we get to all the fascinating lists, Jonathan Day, how the hell are you, my friend? In your sex worker room. I feel like I could
I've got some lighting back here.
Show 50 in front of you, and you'd be like, "All right, let me open the window," and I just trot right in, you know.
I mean, aside from my new lighting, I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of same old. You know, it's back at work for the second week. Just adjusting to the new normal and just kind of how it's panning out. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it's been pretty cool week. The weekend was pretty fun too, just kind of chilling and yeah, that's pretty much it, dude. I am like trying to figure out if I want to pull the trigger and rent Bill and Ted's the third film in the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure franchise.
I just have a feeling it's going to be free on Prime in like maybe a month.
That's what I'm thinking too.
I've got a feeling.
But we'll see. I don't know. A part of me is like, do I feel like I want to support like movies that are like pretty much going to be failing at the box office because no one's probably going to go to the movies anyways.
That's true.
And it seemed like pretty cool. I think I'm excited to like see it, and I might have to brush up and watch like the previous two again just to see. But
I watched the first one not too long ago. I mean, it's a stupid 80s comedy. I don't remember the second. I know I've seen the second one, but I don't remember it very much.
They go to hell in the second one.
That's right.
What I remember.
Well, it's a pretty bogus journey from all accounts.
Yeah.
So,
but that's pretty much it, dude. Just
nice.
Just chilling, nothing much really. Just work stuff, and that's pretty much it. How about you, Joey? How's your weekend?
Weekend was good, man. What'd I do? Saturday went to Walnut Creek with my lady.
Ooh, Walnut
Creek. My lady. And met her friend. One of her. It's basically her, you know what I mean? Or basically, I'm her friend and you're her. From what I was observing, I was like, oh, I see the dynamic here. And then I had dinner with her folks, and that was really lovely. Had a really great time. Very lovely evening. And Sunday was spent doing kind of a bougie brunch.
Ooh.
And then I had dinner with my folks. It's been a year. Sunday marked a year since I moved out of Monterey. And it kind of hit me. And so, yeah. It's kind of,
I just got on my Facebook, the 1 year for our England trip, our Euro trip, which blows my mind too, man. Because I feel like
we left a year ago on the 3rd.
That feels like it just happened. Like
it just fucking happened. Yeah,
man. So, which I mean makes me even more excited to until we can eventually travel into a different country. I am very excited to plan another trip and go out there, and as I mentioned on my share time last time or something like that, I've been trying to learn some French. So
yeah,
which is not bad.
Hit me with your latest.
Tu parles anglais? Like, do you speak English? Tu parles? Parler is like speaking. Just a different like. Right now, it's pretty much like how to address people and like what kind of like. Where you're from, like kind of the basic stuff. It is very interesting though, because there are gender type words where like if it's a woman speaking, then they put like an E or like a different type of thing at the end of the word.
Right.
So that's kind of interesting. And then I'm starting to get into the cool thing about the app that I was using is like you have to even type French too. So they have you like translate as well. So it's cool. It's very interesting trying to use all the different like what do you call it with the C with the little thing on the top and
all the cleft.
But I've been trying to do it every day. Like today, I skipped a day yesterday, but it's fun. I'm just excited because then hopefully when we go back there, we'll get to chat with some people and do our thing. So
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yes, sir.
Very cool, man. Well, before we can get to some lists, I do feel we have to acknowledge just heartbreaking news. Friday night, my buddy Chris Sakamoto texted our group chat, and he said Wakanda Forever, and it was a picture of Chadwick Boseman, and I was like, no, man. And Chadwick Boseman passed away Friday, age 43, colon cancer. This was a tough one, dude.
Yeah.
He kept it hidden from everybody. I don't think even Ryan Coogler, the director of Black Panther, had no idea. And in fact, before the show began, I was surfing Instagram or whatever, and they posted a video of him at the premiere, and a reporter goes, "Oh, let's talk about, or what about Black Panther 2?" He goes, "I'm dead." And they go, "Oh, come on, we're not ready for you to die." He's like, "I'm dead." That's pretty.
Man. I mean,
the worst. Sorry, go.
I was going to say, yeah, I respect, obviously his family keeping it, like a private matter, and I think that's something to acknowledge and respect in itself. But I mean, like being someone who pretty much, I mean, especially playing the Black Panther, and I know he's played other roles that. He's played like Jackie Robinson, I believe,
and James Brown and Thurgood Marshall. What a career! What a career!
What a career! And especially a lot of very African American, very influential people in history, and then for someone like the Black Panther, being kind of the obviously representing Black America and the especially like that. A lot of people were represented in that movie, and I feel like that's it's gonna be a hard loss because he represented so much stuff through that character,
and he was such a talent. Like it wasn't just that he was representing all these things; he was talented beyond measure.
Yeah.
So this is a really hard one. The worst one was there's a video floating around. It's still online, but he's doing press for Black Panther, and he's relating a story about talking with kids who had cancer and how they just wanted to live to see Black Panther and that they didn't make it. And he starts crying during the interview, and you're like, oh, that's sad. But then you realize he was
the one, yeah.
He was dying. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck. Tremendous loss. I'm heartbroken over this one. Really sad. I don't know. I mean, there's really nothing else to say other than Jesus Christ. I don't know if you saw the tasteless. Do you follow Screen Rant?
I believe so. I think I have them on YouTube.
Yeah. So I think the night of or the day after, put out an article saying, okay, what are Marvel's options for Black Panther 2? Who could they recast? What can they do? And it's like, fuck you.
It's too early.
Not the goddamn time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they've lost me forever. But yeah. Utterly heartbreaking. Utterly heartbreaking. And, it's not to start the show on such a down note, but we can't really... We can't do the show without talking about this first. You know what I mean? It's going to be there, and we have to acknowledge it and go right through. But, yeah. No, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, obviously thoughts and prayers, and just a little moment of silence for the Black Panther here.
It's a good moment. Anyway, there was really news-wise, pop culture news. I can't think of anything else. That was it. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, bummer. I don't and now that we've talked about it, I'm like, I don't even know where to go with the show now.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I mean, I just I guess going back off of just kind of the influence of a lot of his films, and there's no doubt that he will leave a lasting impression among generations of all sorts of people, and I think that's one of the big positives out of this is, just being inspiring a lot of different people through his films and through his characters that he's played.
Black Panther was a cultural touchstone. You couldn't, when that movie was out, you couldn't turn around without seeing someone, or wearing a T-shirt or whatever. You know what I mean? It was so cool to see. It was so... My parents watched it. It's the only Marvel movie my parents have ever watched. Yeah. Same with my brother. I don't think he's seen any other ones either.
It's Wakanda.
Wakanda forever. Rest in peace. Chadwick Boseman. Rest in power.
Rest in power.
Really. No easy task, but we're going to try to pivot. And continue on with the show, because we do have a show to do, and the show must go on, and certainly that's how Mr. Boseman lived his life. Just keep on going. So, we're going to talk about some movies tonight, folks, and I'm kind of excited. I don't know if we've done these lists before. I honestly can't remember.
I feel like we have.
It's very possible. It's absolutely possible. But we're going to dive right into it. Jonathan.
Yes.
Would you like me to go first? Would you like you to go first?
You go first, Joe. How about that?
Okay, I'll go first. Okay. Jonathan, what are your top 5 favorite Harrison Ford roles?
Oh, man. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see here. Probably the last two would probably be the most obvious ones, but
Probably.
I looked at his filmography. I have seen a few more Harrison Ford movies, so I'm gonna just go with it. I'm gonna go number 5, Richard Kimball in The Fugitive.
Ooh, nice pull, Shawnee Day.
Which I think this is one of those movies like when my family first got like a DVD player. It was like one of the DVDs they got in like the set.
That would be one of them,
Yeah.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't
care. I don't care. Yeah. But yeah, I just it's a very interesting movie, but yeah, him being like framed for his wife's murder, and you could just see just a lot of stress and all these emotions going through this character's mind, and that's got to be the most extreme, and of course running away from everyone, thinking that you're being blamed for all this. So
and Ford starts out in total daddy mode. He starts out with a full fucking beard.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh, daddy. I like that. I gotta rewatch this one just to see it again. But
it's a good one.
Yeah, The Fugitive. Him playing Richard Kimball.
Richard Kimball.
Yeah, there we go.
Wonderful.
Let's see. Number 4, I've got Harrison Ford playing the President James Marshall in Air Force One.
Yes, bitch.
Get off my plane. Yeah, this one's kind of cool because he's like the freaking president in the movie, but he like just totally takes charge in the whole. He is like the main guy in the movie. He's not the one being protected, and it's just like I like that, and I think that's very. Well, that was very interesting for a movie of that time, where it's like, oh yeah, like the president is usually the one who's being like,
sir, we got to get you to the bunker.
Oh, yeah, like secured all the time, and like this, it's like the president taking it into his own hands, kind of thing. Yeah. So
it's so. This is the coolest movie president in movie history. Is
that could be a top 5. Oh, dude, that's a good top. That should be a top 5 right there, dude.
Top 5. We're gonna do that.
We gotta remember that. Okay. Yeah. So Air Force One, Harrison Ford playing James Marshall. Yes, in Air Force One, super badass.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to go number 3. I'm going to go with Blade Runner. Harrison Ford playing Deckard.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I like the aesthetic of Blade Runner. It's kind of cool for its time. And I like how... I don't know if this is a thing, but like, isn't it from this movie, you're still not sure if he's a replicant or not? Like, by the time you're done with it?
The movie is very ambiguous. I think it plays heavily on the fact that it hints heavily that he is
He is a replicant.
And I think Ridley Scott was even like, yeah, he's a fucking replicant in like later interviews and shit. But if you've seen the sequel...
Oh, I see.
Have you seen the sequel?
I have. I just can't really remember.
Well, the fact that he lived so long and fathered a child is kind of...
That kind of gives it away.
Yeah, because replicants have a very short lifespan. However, his wife, or who, was... I believe her name was Rachel.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on the actress's name. Oh my God, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Ooh.
And it's something Sean. Sean Young. Sean Young.
Okay.
But yeah, so either way, I think in the sequel they're making it like it was a miracle baby or whatever. So I mean, maybe he could have been a replicant that lived past his, but I don't think so. I think they made him a full-fledged fucking human, which sucks. But I like that the movie had ambiguity. I don't get off on Blade Runner as much as other people do. People like hold it up as like one of the greatest cinematic achievements ever. And
cult films.
I find it kind of boring, and I've watched different, cuts of the film because there's like 7 or 8 goddamn official cuts of the movie. But yeah, it's never grabbed me in the way that it grabs some people, and I want it to. Every time I watch it, I'm like, this is the time. I'm older now. I'm a wiser now. I know more about film now, and it never grabs me the way that I want it to. So,
yeah, I feel like I enjoyed the sequel is pretty interesting, or I guess that would be a sequel, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Visually too.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful film.
It's a visuals here. But,
it's a visual delight.
Yeah. But yeah, we got Deckard 3, and then the obvious. I don't know which particular order, because I don't know. I just watched The Last Crusade yesterday, and I just love Indiana Jones. So I'm going to go Han Solo 2, Indiana Jones 1.
Bitch, we got nearly identical lists.
I can't really
Here's
pick
the question. Here's the question.
Yeah.
Which Han Solo performance? Which Indiana Jones performance?
I specifically put Empire Strikes Back in this list for Han Solo. And then just recently watching The Last Crusade, I really liked how they expanded a little bit on just kind of like Indiana Jones as a person and his kind of history with his father. And
it's brilliant.
So yeah, I really like that segment of the film, especially for having that in like the third installment of the film, like kind of expanding more on Indiana Jones, which is I feel like a pretty bold move. I would feel you probably do that like in the first or second movie, but
yeah.
I liked it. That's probably why I really like The Last Crusade even more these days, because it's just like it seems more personal to like Indiana Jones, and like it has a lot of those great scenes with like Sean Connery and his his father.
It's such a warm-hearted film.
It is.
Like, it really is. Like, that's a comfort movie, Like, you throw that on to feel good. It's got, like, the jokes are just like, like, they're right on the line of, like, this is wholesome, but it's also kind of like, if you think about it a little bit, she talks in my sleep.
I love there was, like, that inside joke where they both, like, slept with that doctor girl.
Elsa Schneider,
and then the tickets please, where he's on that huge like Zeppelin.
Love that.
It's just like, and actually that scene reminded me more of Han Solo when he's doing his little stick in the Death Star, and he's like, hey, like just kind of being like,
everything's fine. How are you?
Playing the part, yeah. And then for Han Solo, it's specifically Empire Strikes Back. I think we got introduced to Han Solo in A New Hope, and with Empire Strikes Back, we kind of solidified him as the Han Solo that we really know and hold dear to us, I guess. So, and I can't really pick an order because I really love those characters, but actually, honestly, after watching like Last Crusade again, I really like Indiana Jones as a character.
Yeah, me too.
And he's just so fun in those movies. Like I get you're very right. You get like it's very heartfelt and a heartwarming kind of movie, and I have fun watching, and I could watch it any time of the year.
Fuck yeah,
back to back or whatever. So.
Raiders is my favorite indie outing, but I think Last Crusade is the most enjoyable watch.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. So Joey, what's your list now? So
I've got practically the same fucking list, man, even in the same order. But here we go. Number 5 is different.
okay.
I went with Harrison Ford's turn as Branch Rickey in the movie 42, starring Chadwick Boseman as Jackie
Oh
Robinson.
yeah.
He plays
right.
kind of the white savior character, which is a bit problematic. But the reason I like it so much is because we never see Harrison Ford play kind of old, and he's kind of leaned into it a bit recently. Now that he's brought these characters back, but this is really kind of the first time we're seeing him, like even in Crystal Skull, which came out in 2008. They make he's got gray hair, but he doesn't look old.
Old, yeah.
He looks late 50s, maybe.
Yeah.
Early 60s. But in this, he's all, and you're like, fuck, Harrison Ford got old. And he's playing, I'd never seen him do a role like that before, where he's not playing Harrison Ford. He's not playing Mr. Action Hero. He's not, he's doing something very different. He's doing something with a ton of heart. It's a beautiful role. I haven't seen it since the movie was in theaters, but it's from what I remember, it was very, very kind of heartfelt performance, and one that I enjoyed a ton, and just couldn't believe that I was seeing Harrison Ford on the screen portrayed in that way. Branch Rickey, 42, number 5.
Go.
Number 4, I also have President James Marshall from Air Force One, the coolest movie president of all time.
Oh yeah.
Hello
dude.
there. He succeeds not only in being like, I could see this dude as president. I could see why people would vote for him, but he also kind of strikes that balance of normal guy. Like, like in the beginning of the movie, he's, people are like, "Do you see the game, Mr. President? Don't tell me the game. Don't tell me the score." Blah, blah, blah. And then that guy comes in and goes, "Hey, how about that game?" And they lost, huh? And then they play this kind of wah, wah kind of music as he just kind of, and you're like, fuck, this poor guy can't catch a break. Now his plane's about to get fucking hijacked. But yeah, great movie. I think it was first rated R movie I ever saw, I think.
Ooh, okay. Oh.
Could be wrong about that. I remember seeing it at my nan's house. Number 3, Rick Deckard, Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
And even if I don't care for this movie a ton, I love Harrison Ford in this movie. He rocks that fucking coat like nobody's goddamn business. And he was kind of born to play these film noir-esque or neo-noir characters. Something about Roger Ebert, I think, compared Harrison Ford to Humphrey Bogart.
Oh, really?
And just how he's like, they've got the same face. It doesn't get older. He just scowls more.
Hey, okay.
And, I think about that when I see him in these legacy roles of, Deckard, you can add it now because of Blade Runner 2049, but as Han Solo, as Indiana Jones coming back, like, yeah, it's Harrison Ford. He's just scowling more. He isn't necessarily old. He's just, it's wonderful. Like you, number 2, Han Solo from Empire Strikes Back. He shows a lot of range in that movie. A
lot of range.
He's so effortlessly charming and roguish and handsome and, up until like that line, dude, the "I love you," I know. Fuck. I'm getting a broner just thinking about it.
I know. Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Very good.
I love that scene too. Like when he's like, is it like tied up or chained up? When he's like just about to go to
handcuffs
carbonite.
on.
Yeah, handcuffs.
They take them off. They take off the bindings. Yeah. Because his.
Oh yeah.
Unless the carbonite made him like super strong and maybe
broke out
you
of his chains, I guess.
I don't know what happens down there.
I don't know in
chamber.
carbonite.
Yeah, carbon chamber. Number 1, though, of course, Indiana Jones. I, however, went with Raiders of the Lost Ark. It is
Raiders.
Number 4 in my top 5. I adore this movie, and I adore Indiana Jones as a character. He is flawed. He is funny. He is charming. He is, he's kind of the perfect pulp hero. You know, he's got elements of Batman to him. Like when I watch Temple of Doom, I feel like I'm watching a Batman Robin story. But the main difference is that he doesn't have to put on a mask. He still has a costume. He still has a superhero costume with the hat and the whip and the jacket and all that. But he still looks like, oh, if I lived in the 30s and roamed through the jungles, maybe this is what I would wear too. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel like no one's going to be like, oh, why, you dress it up like a bat? You know what I mean? Like, no one's being like, I mean, the most he gets is, what are you, a lion tamer? You know? It's
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, Indiana Jones is perfection.
Perfection.
And he just strikes all of the right balance. I mean, God, you think about the run this guy had in the 80s with Star Wars and Indy back to back to back to back, and then Blade Runner, and you throw in the other stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot of
It's pretty cool.
starring in a lot of movies right there.
Pretty damn cool.
One little thing I didn't know about when I was watching Last Crusade, you know the little cut on his chin?
Oh, yeah, I know about that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't piece it together
Yeah.
until I saw it again. I was like, holy shit, like, that's why.
Harrison Ford got that, I mean, as a child, I guess. And yeah, they worked that into the origin
Into the
sequence.
character. That's awesome.
Yeah. God, I mean, that is the way you do it. I don't need a fucking 3-hour origin movie. Sorry, I swore. I sound so angry. I'm not angry. But I don't need a 3-hour, 2-hour origin movie of how this person became the thing that I want to see. And you're not going to get the full picture until the sequel. Just give it to me now. They knock out the entire origin of Indiana Jones in one scene.
Yeah.
In the first 12 minutes of Last Crusade, and it is perfect, and it
So
is
good.
all you need, and it leaves just enough mystery to the character. And I mean, could you okay, let's think about if they did that scene today. They would probably get a younger person to play Indy, but they would absolutely have Sean Connery come in, and they would CG his fucking face and all that. How brilliant is it that you just see from behind and hear his voice?
Yes. Yeah. And
That
he's
is
like working on
that is a
the text
master
and stuff.
stroke of filmmaking. That is so good, and it's so simple, and it's so a lesser filmmaker would have been like, we got to shoot him.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I like that sequence. It was cool to watch, and
Yeah.
again, you just get everything there. Like, you know, just a very simple scene. You can kind of piece together like his whole thing about like, oh, this is how he became interested in adventuring and like this kind of stuff, and you know,
Big time.
good time. Sorry, guys, the cats. Yeah, nice, dude. Nice.
Yeah, man. Well,
I
we
like-
got very similar lists.
I know. So we might have a similar list for
I
both
would say
topics. I
good
think.
list, but yeah, I think we might.
We might. I don't know. All right.
Oh boy.
So, Joey, I got my list for tonight for you. It's kind of
yes, sir.
kind of a similar segue, I guess.
Very much so.
Gosh, I've been watching a lot of Spielberg movies lately. I watched Jurassic Park the other day and
You could watch worse filmmakers, I suppose.
Indiana Jones. So I guess this brings us to our Spielberg list. I feel like we've done this before, but I don't know how we feel about movies these days from Spielberg. So, Joey, what are your top 5 favorite Spielberg directed films?
Yeah, going through his filmography, I'm not as big of a Spielberg guy as I never have been a huge Spielberg guy. He's, I guess, the most successful or consistent. I don't know. I wouldn't even say he's that consistent because I think he has a lot of stinkers under his belt as well. But there's no denying that the man is a brand unto himself. And he's a master filmmaker. But, whatever. I was going through his filmography, I was like, nah, that didn't really do it for me. Or I skipped that entirely. You know what I mean? Having said that, let's get into it, shall we?
Shall we?
We've got 5, and I feel like at least 4 of them, if not all 5, are also going to be on your list. I have a tie for number 5.
Oh, a tie. Okay.
I do.
I'm interested now.
And it's like, if one of these is on your list, or if one of these isn't on your list, then I'll just take that one or whatever. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But number 5 is tied for E.T. and Catch Me If You Can.
Ooh, I got Catch Me If You Can on my list. So
Then I'll go with E.T.
There we go.
E.T. is brilliant. E.T. is such a heartwarming, good-natured film. And, I remember watching it as a kid and being kind of bored by it. But watching it as an adult, it's like, this is brilliant. This is, it's a beautiful little story, And funnily enough, another connection, it was written by I don't want to screw up her name, but I believe her name is Melissa Matheson. And that was Harrison Ford's second wife.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Cool. I didn't
She
know
wrote
that.
E.T., yeah.
What?
Little fun fact for you.
Fun fact for you.
But I do want to get her name correct because she's a tremendous talent. Melissa Matheson.
Melissa Matheson.
She passed away in 2015, but they were married from 1983 to 2004. So there you go.
There we go. Nice.
Yeah. Number 4, Jurassic Park. It's a sweet little movie. Maybe you've heard of it. It's about dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, dino DNA. That's what this movie is about. And that is chaos theory.
Chaos theory, y'all. They should have listened to him, man.
Well, here he was.
He was the only right. He was like the only right one out of all of them.
Talking to himself. Goldblum is white hot in this movie. Laura Dern is white hot in this movie. Sam Neill is white hot in this movie. Richard Attenborough is white hot in this movie. This movie is fire. It is Richard Attenborough, right? Or is that his brother?
Yeah, it's Richard. Yeah.
Sir Attenborough, we're gonna say.
Sir.
So as not to screw it up. But yeah, no, the movie is great. It's simple. It's these blockbusters. If you look at the blockbusters of the '90s, they weren't longer than they needed to be.
Yeah.
And thank God for it. I put on Men in Black not too long ago, and that movie. Think about all that happens in Men in Black, and what a great time that is. Guess how long that movie is?
I'm gonna go an hour 40.
It's an hour and a half, dude. I think.
Hour and a half.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like, these movies do not... Well, we got to give them their money's worth. Well, you're putting in a lot of padding.
Yeah.
And,
I feel you.
It doesn't make it... Just because it's longer doesn't make it any better. Okay, I lied. It's an hour and 53 minutes. Fuck
still,
you.
Still under
it's
2 hours?
Still under 2 hours. They tell that story, and it's incredible. Spielberg was producer on that.
Oh, there we go.
God, we could talk about the movies Spielberg probably ghost directed. Right?
Yeah.
He absolutely ghost directed Goonies and absolutely ghost directed Poltergeist. You watch, especially the first 10 minutes of Poltergeist, you're watching a Steven Spielberg movie.
It feels like a Spielberg,
It feels like E.T.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jurassic Park. Still to this day, I think my favorite use of CGI in all of moviedom.
That's probably one of my favorite scenes where they if they first see the dinosaurs and they're in the Jeep and then they're just they have to look over and you could just feel the sheer scale of those CG dinosaurs and even from the actors being able to portray their amazement and stuff.
They do
during that time. They do. There's a lot of quotes from Jurassic Park.
God, it's so good. That is one big pile of shit. Number 3, I'm going to go Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
There we go.
And it kills me that it's not higher on the list. It's a brilliant film. I can throw it on anytime. We've already kind of talked to death about it, but it is so good.
So good.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this movie. It's amazing. It's so good. I mean, if you've never watched Last Crusade or if you don't have good memories of Last Crusade, go throw it on right now. And you'll be just delighted. You'll have such a good time with it. Benedict Man. But Jehovah starts with an I.
Oh, gosh.
Jay.
That's good. That's good editing right there. I like that.
Yeah.
Back and forth with them.
My buddy Roland, he watches that movie with his kids all the time, and his kid finally goes, "So, why didn't the floor that Indy holds on to crumble?" And he's like, "Fuck."
No.
So just ruin the movie. I'm like,
damn.
No. Yeah.
All right. Okay. I can see
Yeah.
that.
So, number 2, the greatest war picture of all time, Saving Private Ryan. This movie is I don't know. What do you say about the scale of this movie, the heart of this movie, and the technical ambition and achievement of this movie? I remember this is one of those early ones as a kid when I was like learning about how to make movies. I would watch the special features, and I had an early DVD of this movie, and there's special features of showing Spielberg as a kid running on the ground with his friends, and they would put a little plank and cover part of it with dirt, and so when you stepped on it, it looked like they were getting shot at, you know. And he goes, I knew for this movie all I needed really was a shaky camera. And then you watch it back, and and that adds to the confusion and the feeling of just chaos of war. In this movie also, I don't think anyone ever kind of mentions it, but I really think this movie is responsible for the way period pictures look now.
Okay.
What they did is, I forget exactly the technique the cinematographer used, and I feel bad I don't remember exactly who the cinematographer was. It wasn't Douglas Slocum who did the first 3 Indiana Jones pictures. At least I don't think it was. But basically he took like a protective layer off of the film, and that's why the sunlight is able to kind of seep into the picture, and it has kind of that washed out. It's almost black and white sometimes, but it's not, and it kind of has that look to it, that very classical, and you feel, and I think a lot of period pictures try to replicate that look, and ever have since Saving Private Ryan, and it's just not the same because they actually manually kind of
did that
with the film. And if I'm remembering that correctly, and I'm pretty sure I am, but the look to that movie is just gorgeous. It's so it doesn't get enough credit for being influential in the way movies look today, and it should be. Fuck you, Harvey Weinstein, for getting Shakespeare in Love to win Best Picture that year. That's just ridiculous. But hey, the Oscars don't mean anything, so that's good. Number 1, it's number 4 in my top 5, fam. Raiders of the Lost Ark is a perfect movie. It puts a smile on my face every time just thinking about it. I'm like, I might have to throw that on tonight. I'll probably throw on Last Crusade actually, but it's a beautiful film. It's an amazing, Spielberg had gone over budget and over schedule on his last couple pictures, and he was kind of in hot water. This was a proving ground for him, and he was like, I can do this movie under budget and under schedule. And so they shot it quick and dirty like the old serials. And I'm sure you know the story of how it came about. He wanted to direct a James Bond picture.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, he's in Hawaii with George Lucas. It's opening weekend for Star Wars, and George Lucas just wanted to get the hell away from it all. So they're chilling on a beach, and Spielberg is like, I just want to direct a James Bond movie, but they won't let me because I'm not British. And Spielberg's like, fuck that. Or Lucas goes, no, I got something way better than that. It's this character I got. It's called Indiana Smith. And Spielberg went, I like it. Change him to Indiana Jones, and I'm on.
Yo.
So,
what?
Yeah, I can't believe you didn't know that. That is how Indiana Jones came to be. Yeah.
Cool. Indiana Smith.
Right? Come on, Lucas.
Jones. I like Jones.
Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones. Rolls off the tongue.
It's so good.
Dr. Jones.
You got more than you bargained for, Jones. I'm your goddamn partner.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Harrison Ford. I mean, yeah,
me too.
That so movie is awesome.
His silhouette, dude. His silhouette.
Yeah. It's such an iconic look, man. Like
instantly iconic.
Instantly.
I mean, from the moment that the camera that you go from the Paramount logo and it dissolves to that mountain in Peru, it's like you're back in time. You're in a different. You're watching something not from. It could take place at any time. Raiders of the Lost Ark never feels like it's a period piece. Like when I was a kid, I didn't think 1930s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And interesting, right? That I was talking about period pieces because I think that Crystal Skull very much feels like it's trying to evoke that period, and it has that sheen that later movies that I feel ripped off of Saving Private Ryan feel like. You know what I mean? Like, Indy never, his world feels worn and lived in, whereas. And when I'm talking about period pictures and I'm talking about things like Crystal Skull, it feels like all those costumes and everything you're seeing on screen was made specifically for that movie, and it was perfect. And, like, no, I want to see these guys, like, everything in that world feels like there's no reverence to anything, right? Because it's just their world, right?
Yeah.
I'm not giving a good enough. I'm not articulating that well enough. It's kind of like when Johnny Cash was talking to James Mangold about making a movie biopic. He's like, one thing I don't want to see. Whenever I see these movies about musicians, they always, grab a guitar and look at it like it's holier than thou. He's like, no, pick that thing up and swing it around. He's like, it's just a fucking guitar. So, and that's kind of how I feel about, like, the first 3 Indiana Jones movies. They're just picking it up and swinging it around. But by Crystal Skull, there's reverence for the way it looks, and you know what I mean. It's just like, no, let's live in it a little bit.
Let's live in it. Yeah, you're right, man. That's a very interesting observation, and I could totally see this, being the top movie on your list because it's a great film, man.
Great record.
It's almost. I've actually. Even like the whole trilogy itself. Like I've really over the years have come to like obviously every movie individually, but just as a whole, all 3 of them together and seeing kind of the journey that Indiana Jones takes throughout them. But Raiders was great because it's just like in that movie you get like such a good. Portrayal of like who Indiana Jones is, and like what his adventures are like, and that opening scene too is super awesome. Sneaking into a little tomb or temple, right?
In the first one, he learns to kind of respect a higher power, right? Because it's he's like, oh, I've heard these bedtime stories, blah 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 blah. In Temple of Doom, which is actually a prequel, takes place about a year before Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's right.
His arc is fortune and glory, and learning that isn't the most important thing. And then by the time you get to Last Crusade, his it belongs in a museum, and he'll do anything to get it into a museum, and he has to learn that his father's love is more important than the Grail, and it's.
It's such a good
those
scene.
Movies are so good. I say that to Marty all the time. Let it go,
Indiana.
Let
it go,
Indiana.
Let it go. I love how that. I know it's a simple line, but like the way Sean Connery delivers that line, it's just like you can tell,
so
like
good.
Like a father to son thing. Like just let go,
Well, and he's finally acknowledging his son the way his son wants to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
Because throughout the whole movie, Junior, and then Indiana, and that's what stops him. That's the moment he. That's why he's able to let it go, and it's beautiful. It's oh my god! I'm gonna throw on Raiders or Lost Ark. I'm gonna throw on Last Crusade and fall asleep tonight. That's my plan. Yeah,
dude, I like your list, Joey. There's tons of Spielberg films out there. We both share. I have The Last Crusade as my my number 2 on this list.
Nice.
And just watching it recently, I thoroughly really enjoy that movie. And from earlier, just like those moments where it is kind of like more personal with his father, and you kind of now, like kind of going off of what you're saying, like with the first 2 movies, like him learning something, it's this is kind of like the ultimate thing for him to kind of go through, especially when it involves someone he loves or is blood related to, and it's a good moment for that character. So I think I'm skipping things here. So I'm going to go number 5. 1993 Schindler's List. Schindler, I gotta say Schindler's List, which is crazy because that came out the same year as Jurassic Park.
Right?
Which blows my mind because and I think Schindler's List won
Best Picture.
Best Picture, right? Yeah.
Let me go make this serious, heartbreaking Holocaust movie, and then I'm going to go make a dinosaur movie.
Yeah. When you think about it in that perspective, it's a little crazy. Yeah.
Fuck.
But I remember watching Schindler's List with my dad, and obviously it's a very, it could be a tough watch, based off it's about the Holocaust and all the people who were taken and put to death, and but at the same time it was a story of someone who cared for people, and that it was just a very interesting and fascinating story for someone to, in the eyes of maybe some other people, they think all the stuff that Liam Neeson, I think, is that he plays the main guy, Schindler, being someone who is well off and highly acknowledged, and has such a reputation, I guess, in this world, but also obviously puts that aside and cares for the rights of human beings and all those things. It's such a interesting story to take someone like that, like a figure who, maybe in the eyes of in society is just someone who is just well off, or can buy their way out of things and whatnot. But I think
how heartbreaking is that last scene?
Yeah, man.
When he's like, I could have done more. This would have gotten one more. This would have gotten two.
You could really see the I don't know what the best word
is, guilt,
guilt and humility in the character, for wanting to do more, even with the little the stuff, the things he already has done to save people, and it's just and that's the thing too. It's going through that journey and just seeing a character that wishes they could do more, which wishes they can get rid of this evil as easy as that. But it's never as easy as it is. But just that I remember that moment, man. That's a heavy moment.
Yeah.
Anyways, Schindler's List for number 5. Just visually and with Spielberg behind it, it's just such a great film.
Wonderful movie. Yeah.
Number 4, I've got Catch Me If You Can.
Nice.
Yeah, freaking love it. Tom Hanks.
Barry Allen.
Yeah, Barry Allen. Yeah. Tom Hanks, freaking Leonardo DiCaprio. Very fun, interesting story. I feel like I'm always on the edge of my seat when I watch this movie. And even though I've seen it before, it's I don't know, I always get surprised by it somehow. And of course, it's Spielberg. It's got a lot of the kind of directional and maybe imagery that Spielberg kind of tends to go with, and so it's just a fun, entertaining movie. So yeah, number 4. Okay, I'm trying to order mine a specific way here. Okay, I'm gonna go number 3, Jurassic Park.
Word. For
all the reasons you've mentioned. Bringing dinosaurs to life. Kind of pretty much creating that world of after seeing that film, it's oh my God, can dinosaurs live? It's just such a for Spielberg, especially with the that type of fantasy and being able
movie
to movie science. Yeah, he does so well with that kind of subject, and I think it makes it so real to the audience when it's portrayed on the film, and being able to obviously get the characters to react and have these specific situations happen. There's something magical about what Spielberg, I think, brings to that and kind of amplifies that kind of genre of filmmaking. So Jurassic Park for number 3. Man, this is a tough one. I'm going to go Last Crusade for 2.
Right on.
Which I did not know this either. It came out when I was at 1989. I didn't know it was
89,
like 30.
baby.
I didn't know it was an 89 movie.
That's what 89 is such a tough one for me because like
Yeah.
Batman is such a like personally Batman 89 means so much to me, right? But if I'm being honest with myself, what's the better movie? Of course it's Last Crusade.
Yeah.
I have such a dilemma when it comes to picking like my movie for 1989, you know.
For 89, man. Yeah, I was thoroughly surprised when I was like, oh shit, like yeah, this movie came out when I was like the year I was born. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've said enough about it on this show and today's episode. Just recently watched it, and I just sat down and enjoyed it for what it was, and again, probably one of my favorite Indiana Jones films out of the whole trilogy, I would say. So,
Fuck yeah.
yeah. And then my last one, you've already mentioned this movie, Saving Private Ryan, for all the reasons. Being able to portray war and obviously the horrors of war, the companionship or brotherhood with soldiers, like all these different things with war. I think it really hits a lot of those points, and being able to just follow these group of men, and obviously trying to save Private Ryan and find and reunite with those soldiers. What a like. I mean, it's so intense. It's just it has a lot of different. You have so many different feelings when you watch that movie. And
the earn this moment,
dude, that moment too, man. That's
earn
probably
this.
Earn this.
Earn it.
I freaking love Tom Hanks in that movie, though.
He's so good.
Fucking awesome in it. Yeah, then the ending, like when you see like Ryan, older Ryan, as
morph is so good.
Such a good morph, man.
Like the earn this moment gets me, and then when he turns to his wife and he goes, "Tell me I'm a good man.
Oh man,
tell me I've lived a good life." I lose it. I'm losing it right now thinking about it. Holy fuck!
It's such a moment because that's pretty much him questioning like did I deserve to live, right? And all these other people die for me.
You look at all those gravestones. You look at
it's such a moment and especially for a character like Ryan as an older man to reflect on that, to think about his time and the people he knew. Just such a great movie to encompass a lot of those different themes in there. But yeah, Saving Private Ryan for number one, especially. So
I like it. That's a good number one. Yeah, you're an adult. That's a very good number one.
Yeah.
Shit. Well, good
Spielberg,
list, Shawnee.
man.
Good list, my friend.
I was like, so I was texting Joey and I was like, so just to be sure, it's Spielberg directed, because he's just produced like so many other movies. It's like insane. And some of them are like probably movies we enjoy too or whatever, but like, yeah, he just has so many movies. But directed is always, that's a thing. That's all Spielberg, if you think about it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Hello, cat.
We could talk about his acting turn in Austin Powers Goldmember. But we won't.
Wait, what?
You don't remember this?
I don't remember that, dude. Wait, what happened?
The opening of Goldmember, while I don't really like Goldmember as a movie, the opening is one of the all-time greats. It has so many. So the movie opens with this giant action sequence, and it's Austin Powers just bombing down, and he takes off his helmet, and it's Tom Cruise as Austin Powers, and you think it's supposed to be Shagwell, and it is Gwyneth Paltrow as Dixie Normus, and you think it's Dr. Evil, but it's Kevin Spacey, and you think it's Mini-Me, but it's Danny DeVito, and then Austin's like, I don't, they're shooting the movie. And Austin Powers like, I don't know about this, Stevie. And it turns around, the director of the fake movie is Steven Spielberg. And he's like, well, my friend here, and he holds up his Oscar, disagrees with you. He thinks it's just fine.
Oh Oh, how would I not remember this?
Oh yeah, and then Austin dances through the back lot, and you see Britney. He goes, "Oh my God, it's Britney Spears!"
Yeah,
and
I
they have
remember
a
that part.
dance off, and he goes over to Quincy Jones, and they dance together.
Yeah.
and that's a wonderful opening.
I remember. Yeah, I remember all the like posing actors and actresses and stuff. But Steven Spielberg. Yeah, I totally forgot about that part of him being like in the movie. Sorry,
Big
I got
time.
hiccups. My bad.
That's okay. If you stand upside down, hold your breath, and drink water at the same time, they should go away promptly.
All right, here we go. I'll try it out.
Just do it real quick, yeah.
Oh God. It's the beer. I think.
Ja, es cerveza.
The beer, cerveza. Beer para Kuchen. Oh gosh. All right.
You good. Are you all right?
Try to hold my breath. We'll see.
Okay, I'll talk to the kids for a second. You hold your breath. Just kidding. I'm gonna hold it with you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Ready? Oh man, it's still there. Well,
That's all good.
let's get near the end of this then. Jonathan, do you have anything you'd like to share with our dear, sweet, lovely imaginary audience this week, my friend?
No. Oh gosh. Since I have hiccups, probably not this week.
Okay, fair. That's very fair.
Joey, do you have anything to share this week?
Yeah, just quickly, I'll say I'm trying Stella Artois Solstice Lager,
Hey,
and it's okay.
it's okay.
It's
okay.
kind of like a Stella cider.
Stella
Take it or leave
cider.
it. I bought
That's
12
new.
of them.
That's new, right? I don't think I've seen that before from Stella.
Yeah, I was walking around Target and saw that it's gold packaging, and that caught my eye. I was like, well, I guess humans are drawn to gold, so I got it, and it's okay. It's all right. It's very nice labeling. I mean, I like the look of this.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah.
Stella, and you know, usually we're used to the green bottle too with Stella. It's
Yeah.
cool.
So yeah, it's different. It's different.
That's the
okay.
difference.
You know. That's all I got. That's all I got this week. Jonathan, where can we find more of your work on the internets this week, my friend?
You guys can find me on Instagram at SeanDayMusic and on my website, SeanDayMusic.net.
Nets.
I didn't hiccup. Okay, cool.
Wonderful.
Oh gosh, Joey,
There
where
it
can we find more of your work?
You can find me on Twitter at Joey Prouty and on my website, joeyproutyscripts.com. You can check out the show at Top 5 Pod, that's TOPFIVE 5 POD, on Instagram, on Twitter at gmail.com, and on YouTube. We're on Facebook at Top 5 Podcast, and we're also on Google Play, Apple Music, and SoundCloud, so please give us a like, give us a listen, give us a follow, give us your love, and we will give you
Lots of hiccups in return.
lots of hiccups and returns. Until next time, I'm Joey Prouty.
And I'm Sean Day.
Thanks for
Oh gosh. I knew I couldn't make it through that last part.
That was good. That was very good.
Oops.
There we are.
Oh my gosh.